Hi, it's me, Ran, and as you can see, I am going to talk about Think and Grow Rich. Definitely one of the game changers. It was published in 1937, and this edition is actually expanded and revised by Dr. Arthur Pell. The great thing about this book is that Dr. Pell makes it more relatable to us today in the 21st century by inserting people like Bill Gates, Steven Spielberg, Napoleon Hill, and Dr. Pell. They didn't try to write this book and sound scholarly. They wrote it so that we can understand and apply it to our life. The first chapter is about the power of thought, which really gets your mindset going, and it prepares you for accepting this book. I first want to talk to you how some people may be bogging you down, or maybe you're doing that to yourself. It's more acceptable for people to think negatively and make fun of something. So, for example, I shot a video a couple days ago about how people in our industry, we're sometimes seen as crazy or like we're a part of a cult. We attend seminars and spend thousands of dollars on our education. And some people think that's really nutty, which is silly because it's just parallel to the traditional way of doing things. So instead of going to college for 4 years and spending tens of thousands of dollars, sometimes hundreds of thousands of dollars on your education when you're not going to see any profit from it for about 20-30 years, not guaranteeing you that a job in that field anyway. I also use football as an example a lot of times where people are fanatics about it. If they're not watching it Monday, Thursday, Saturday, and Sunday, they're talking about it, watching the analysts. They know every stat of every person, where they played in college, everything about them, and they're fanatics about it. And yet they think we're crazy when we're so focused and driven with our business. Don't worry about it. Take that negativity and just, you know what, let them have it, because they're going to talk about something or someone. And it may be hurtful because it may be your family or people you care about that don't understand what you're doing with your business or why you want to do this business if you haven't already gotten into it. And this book is a great way to start out. If you've never read one of these books before, I don't think it should just motivate or inspire. I think that this should change your mind. It should change the way that you behave because you really believe in it. So we're starting at chapter 2, desire. I don't want to give too much away here. You need to read this book for yourself. I'm taking my time reading it. While some people say 30 minutes a day to dedicate to reading, I say that it's not as much the time length that's important, but your dedication to doing so. And for me, I read to a point where I feel like I've soaked up that one section and that material, and that could be one paragraph or it could be 10 pages. And right here, Barnes' desire was not a hope, it was not a wish, it was a keen, pulsating desire which transcended everything else. It was definite. Today, people who know Barnes envy him because of the break life yielded him. They see him in the days of his triumph without taking the trouble to investigate the cause of his success. Barnes succeeded because he chose a definite goal and placed all his energy, all his willpower, and all his effort into achieving that goal. Skipping down to the middle, 5 years passed before the chance he had been seeking made its appearance. A little bit farther down that paragraph, but in his own mind, he was the partner of Edison every minute of the time, from the very first day he went to work there. He stood by his desire until it became the dominating obsession of his life, and finally, a fact. He left himself no possible way of retreat. He had to win or perish. That's all there is to Barnes' story of success. If you have that drive and you have that focus and that's your only goal and you want it bad enough, you can taste it, feel it, touch it, hear it, see it, all your senses, then it was already so in his mind. So it was going to happen, and that's why it happened. Every human being who understands the purpose of money wishes for it. Wishing will not bring riches, but desiring riches with a state of mind that becomes an obsession, then planning definite ways and means to acquire riches, and backing those plans with persistence, which does not recognize failure, will bring riches. I want to stop right here for a second and talk to you about the focus of money. For a long time when I was growing up, because we grew up very poor, and then after that when we started and we were considered middle class average Americans, I really told myself I hated money because it brought so much pain when we didn't have it. So why didn't I get more? Why didn't I see more? Because I hated it. I put that energy out there, and because you do have to understand that what you put out there is what you're going to get back. if you put happiness out there, you're going to get happiness back. All the time? No. But I'm talking about your core, your life, the direction that you're heading. And I'm not talking about being delusional where you turn every sad situation into good. But I'm saying that you can see lessons in everything. And you can take the good out of something bad. And right here, when he's talking about the purpose of money and wishing for it and becoming obsessed with it, that's because he's talking about acquiring wealth. Had this book been talking about how to become a famous actor, this line would read differently. It would say, you know, become obsessed with making it to Hollywood or to Broadway. He lists 6 things that you must do, and these rules, as it'll show later, were followed by very, very, very successful people. Okay, number 1, fixing your mind the exact amount of money you desire. Okay, you have to come up with a specific amount. You have to see it. It can't just be like a rounded number like, oh, I want to make $10,000 a month. But, okay, that just sounds like a wish. So make it a specific amount. Maybe write out how much you need to make for bills and then how much you want for leisure. Come up with like, I need to make $75.14 per hour, and I want to work 4 hours a day. Number 2, determine exactly what you intend to give in return for the money you desire. Number 3, establish a definite date when you intend to process the money you desire. So just like coming up with an exact amount, you want to come up with the exact date because that is just as important. Number 4, create a definite plan for carrying out your desire and begin at once, whether you are ready or not to put this into action. You're never going to be fully ready. You know, isn't that what the number 1 thing that people who get pregnant say? Oh my gosh, we're not ready to become parents. What do we do? Nobody's ready to become parents. Nobody knows how to raise a human. We don't know how to raise ourselves half the time. But you do it. Number 5, write out a clear, concise statement of the amount of money you intend to acquire. Name the time limit for its acquisition. The wording of that is very specific and important, and you need to write it down. You need to write it down with your hand. Don't type it up because it is more powerful for you to physically do it, connecting your mind, your eyes, your hand onto paper, and put it somewhere where you can see it. Name the time limit for its acquisition. So just like coming up with a date for it, I want to make $10,000 a month. By when? So it's not going to become reality unless you can really feel like it's a realistic thing that you're talking about here. Number 6, read your written statement aloud twice daily. He says do this when you wake up and do this when you're going to bed. Money is not the focus here. I'm not talking about just money. I'm talking about money being the vehicle to bring you to the place where you can have the freedom that you want. And freedom's another word that's misused a lot. Freedom to me, and I don't know what it is to you, but to me, it's time spent with people that you love. At the bottom here, he's talking about the people I talked about in the beginning of this video. To those who have not been schooled in the working principles of the human mind, these instructions may appear impractical. Just like I said, if it doesn't resonate with certain people, don't worry about it. It's not your job to convince them. It's your business. It's your life. Let them arrive at the conclusions that they want. The 6 steps that we just talked about, it was received from Andrew Carnegie. Carnegie managed to make these principles yield him a fortune of considerably more than $100 million. What I wanted to convey with this video today is, first of all, to get you to think and grow rich, because you cannot have a successful business without wanting to be rich. It's just as good as anything else you need. Food, water. Accept it, want it, invite it into your life. And start talking differently, start thinking differently, and you will start to behave differently. And not just with your business, you're going to see it in your personal life. Be sure to educate yourself and keep yourself growing every day, okay? All right, have a blessed day, and I will talk to you next time.